Hi everyone, Teddy Baldassarre with TeddyBaldassarre.com. In this video, we're looking at a watch from Frederique with the classic Moonphase. So in this video and on this channel, we cover watches available for purchase on our website, TeddyBaldassarre.com. So in this video, deep dive review of this timepiece, final points of consideration at the end, but also if you have any further questions about this watch, you can learn more in the description down below with the link to the product page where you can also purchase the watch and book a time with one of our dedicated watch specialists as well. But guys, let's jump into the video, take a closer look at this watch. If you want to purchase a new watch with an in-house manufactured Swiss-made movement for around $3,000, your choices are going to be somewhat limited in today's market. Movement manufacturing is an expensive process, and in-house movements often sell at premium over third-party supplier movements. The choices today aren't as limited as they were in 2009 when Frederique began producing their in-house movements, which focused on quality and affordability, two areas of production that are not always aligned with one another. And now, from a modern context, the brand has really developed a focus on providing some of the best value when you're dealing with the world of manufactured caliber movements. This could probably best be seen with some of their up technology that's going to be delivered with their new high oscillator movements. They really are the real deal when it comes to producing different calibers. But today we're looking at one of those entry doors into their movement offering, as well as looking at an offering that is of course going to deliver some of the same classical design elements with the FC Classic Moonphase with the FC 712 movement on the inside. So taking a look at this piece, we'll start with the case measurements, which are going to run at 42 millimeters across, 48.6 millimeters from lug to lug, and a case height of 11.5 millimeters. You'll notice that the case is quite round in its shape with a relatively straight and thin lug design. Generally, the three-piece case construction is simply done with a rounded mid-case that seamlessly transitions into a dome-fixed bezel. It's an elegant and traditional design approach that pairs well with the classic dial elements, which we will explore more in a moment. In terms of the overall wear here, this one does run rather large. I mean, this talking about 42 millimeters with the case size, but it is going to wear a little bit more subdued for that proposed case dimension. I would say closer in actuality, this is going to wear closer to that of a 40 to 41 millimeter with its case size. An onion style push-pull crown with large grooves is positioned at the typical 3 o'clock position. It has hand winding capabilities at that first recessed point when you have it flush to the case. At that second point, we'll have 2 points of operation. One will be able to adjust the subsidiary date that is going to be located at the 9 o'clock position. And then the Moonphase can be adjusted in the opposite direction. At the farthest pull-out point, you then can adjust the time while stopping the second hand in the process, so hacking seconds here. But really one of the novel things when it comes to FC and what they do with their movements, mostly being seen with their world timer, is going to be that the operation is all done through a single crown. This offers a ton of ease for a general wearer when you're setting the watch. Some of the pains can come with those world timers, perpetual calendars. They really focus on making it easy with setting after the, say, reserve is going to be winding down. When looking a little bit further here, the dressy aesthetic is delivered in part by the fully polished surfaces of each of the three case parts and down through the lugs. Soft but well-defined edges are found along the lugs on both the front and back sides, which is going to allow more comfortable wear. The edges aren't chamfered but are rounded slightly to eliminate any sharp spots. The lugs are set at 22 millimeters apart and are attached with a padded black leather strap with an alligator grain embossed on top. The strap is pretty stiff when you first get it, and it is going to include some padding within, but it will break in over time. At the opposite end, we do have a very finely finished deployant clasp that is going to have a 2-button release. It's going to have a blasted top surface with some polished elements with that FC Shield logo at the center. And it's going to do an excellent job with keeping the strap firm on the wrist and centered when it comes to the watch on the wrist. But if you are wanting to get some different strap options, I would definitely utilize this deployant clasp in the future and would not let it part from any strap that you decide to pair with this one. Transitioning over to the dial, first we have a slightly convex sapphire crystal, which gives us a clear view of the silvery white dial below. Now this dial is elegant like many other FC watches out there within the dress category. This one comes with a semi-glossy finish to it and a look and style that isn't uncommon, particularly on these silvery white dials. It's also laid out with classic features, starting with the very small minute track that is found along the outside dial edge. To the inside of the minute track are long, elaborate Roman numerals that give it an early 20th century vibe, a look that you might see on pocket watches from around the turn of the century. These numerals take up a large part of the dial's real estate and are the main visual feature outside of the two sub-registers. The 3 o'clock position is going to showcase that Moonphase indicator, which features a shiny blue rotating disc with matte gray stars and a moon motif applied. For the most part, the dial is going to lack really much texture, but this Moonphase complication is going to be one of the exceptions here. At the 9 o'clock, to really match the symmetry of the Moonphase, we have the positioning of that date. This subsidiary style is going to be of the pointer date variety, and it's going to operate very traditionally in that manner. At the center, we have black and leaf style hands to match the other elements off that silvery white dial to provide some really solid contrast. Everything is rather slim in terms of what is being executed, down from the Roman numerals to the hands at the center. But in many ways, FC is always leaning into that classic traditional type of dress watch when they are trying to go for that approach. And I think they exceed here with matching a dial with, although having some complications, with nice level of symmetry that is rarely executed to this degree. Now, turning this watch over, we have a screw down exhibition case back revealing the large in-house manufactured caliber, the FC712. So this is really where FC does separate themselves from the competition in the price category. Visually, it has several high-end and eye-catching features, starting with the large skeletonized gold rotor, which is fixed in the center of the movement. It is finished with a vertical brush texture and is signed along the bottom edge with the FC name, as well as the word manufacturer, to let you know that this is indeed one of their in-house movements. Beneath the rotor, you will find a large plate decorated with circular Côte de Genève striping, which opens up and exposes the entire balance assembly at the 6 o'clock position. Small details are noticeable here, which elevates the quality of the finishing itself, most notably with the thin chamfered edge along the plate. The plates and bridges beneath this section, where it's been designed for the rotor to freely spin, is decorated with nice purling, and blued screws are used to secure the movement and parts in place at each level. As far as technical details go, the FC712 operates at 4 Hz and has a 38-hour power reserve. The power reserve is going to be a challenge here, just considering what is going to be offered for a lot of third-party calibers, being very similar. The balance does have traditional regulating pins to help with making small timing and adjustments if needed. The movement is also going to have hacking and hand winding functionality. Again, hacking going to be stopping the second hand when you pull the crown to the farthest position. All right, so now to look at some final points of thought when looking at the FC Classic Moonphase. Now, when looking at FC, I think they provide some of the more compelling value for dress watches that are also going to have manufacturer calibers on the inside. And with that being the case, I think this is going to be also positioned in a light very similar to those, as being something that's going to be compelling against the competition. There's a lot of high-end approaches that are being showcased within this watch that I think are worthy of admiration and consideration for many enthusiasts out there. It is important to set the stage, though, for this watch in terms of what it is providing and maybe not providing. In the area of a dress watch, to look at a watch that's going to have a case dimension of 42 millimeters is quite strange. This is kind of getting into a territory that almost is counterproductive, I would say, for a dress watch, even from a modern perspective. So this is going to be probably better suited for those with medium to larger size wrists. It wears closer to a 40 to 41 millimeter case with the help of that lug-to-lug dimension, but this certainly needs to be considered because everything about this is classic, and it's just format going towards that mid-20th century design, classic Roman numerals and everything of the sort. To then see a larger case size is a bit peculiar. When it comes to the movement on the flip side, this is one of the more beautifully finished movements for the price range. It's not going to be of the highest end of quality, but you're talking about a watch sub $3,000, and this is certainly going to be one of the better finished movements for that type of offering. Now, one of the challenges with in-house movements, and I have a video actually discussing this idea, is in-house for complication's sake versus actually providing true upside with the day-to-day function are two very different things. When it comes to this movement, the up power reserve is not there, which is kind of a bummer when you're starting to get into the in-house variety. So really what you're paying for is up finish more than anything else. Something that you could take off the wrist, take a look at, and admire for yourself or others that might be showing interest in the watch that you have. But this is all to say that I think this is positioned as a nice value if you're starting to get into the manufacturer calibers, starting to look into some more artisanal watchmaking characteristics without having to pay the huge price tag associated with that. I think this FC kind of scratches that itch and providing, again, another reason why they do such a nice job of delivering kind of those high horology looks and packages that are much more attainable. All right, guys, well, thank you again so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. That really does help out the channel, and I would appreciate that. Also, in addition, if you are in the market for this watch, check it out. It's available on TeddyBaldassarre.com. TeddyBaldassarre.com is a full authorized dealer of all the products we carry. Quick and fast fulfillment, dedicated customer support. We also offer a full factory warranty for all the products that we offer, unlike a lot of other places online. So if something goes wrong, you're gonna be covered. In addition to that, we offer price match. If you see one of our watches for cheaper at another authorized dealer, just fill out the form and we'll get in touch with you. And finally, 9 out of every $10 that we generate goes right back in the content that we're creating here, as well as on our main channel. But guys, thank you again so much for watching. Be well, and I will see you all very soon.